What's your carnal theory?
Hey there, you're listening to Carnal Theory, where we talk with experts from around the world to learn how taking command of our sexual story affects our personal wellness, sexual experiences, and relationships with ourselves and others. Hi everyone, I'm Abba.
And I'm Amanda, and today we're talking with HP Willis, an Atlanta-based vocalist, dancer, and actor, as well as the founder of Comfy Confidence, a place where people can come together and practice being confidently uncomfortable throughout various workshops and classes. Her artistry and activism are deeply influenced and motivated by human rights, intersectional feminism, fat activism, body liberation, and body trust. HP, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to meet with us.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here. I love today's subject. This is going to be so much fun.
Yay, we're excited too.
Yeah.
We like to kick off each show, as you know, by asking our guests to present what their carnal theory is. And as a reminder for our audience, this carnal theory, it's something that's meant to maybe challenge a presumption or a perception that we might have in life. We'll end the episode by looping back on this carnal theory and just see maybe our perception has changed about it. Maybe we've learned something new during the conversation, and we'll also ask you to consider it for further reflection. So HP, can you kick us off and share what your theory is that you've been thinking?
My carnal theory has always been, why walk when you can dance? It is something that it's quoted by a dancer named Ellen Van Damme, I believe, but I first heard it when I was a child in the movie The Babysitter's Club. It was spoken by the character Jessie. Just dating myself a little bit. Don't worry about it. And I always have connected deeply with it, both literally and metaphorically, obviously. To me, the phrase "why walk when you can dance" means to celebrate bigness. I feel like in our culture, we don't necessarily celebrate bigness, whether that is personality-wise or physically, or, putting a cap on the ceiling of our ideas and our dreams. I had a thought the other day that was about, I'm sitting here, developing and launching all these classes and getting more and more ideas on things we can do in them. And, I was struggling a little bit with some self-doubt. And I realized, I was like, I think self-doubt is rooted in the idea that that there's not enough space for my bigness, my sticky ideas, as I like to call them. And so I wasn't thinking big enough, and I think that when it comes to, the way that we live, just every day remembering there is enough space for me. I don't have to just cruise through my life. I can dance through my life, and I can be as big and as bright and as loud and as beautiful that I want to be.
Oh, I love it.
I have full body chills right now. Well, we wanted to ask you what that meant to you, and you just swept us off our feet. Now we're dancing.
Woo! Everybody's, high on life. I love it.
Wow. Okay. I really, really love that. I think, Amanda, so today's theme, this month's theme, we're focusing around breath.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a thought to incorporate into that is how does breath weave in?
Yeah.
How can we apply breath?
Yeah. Well, for me, breath is everything. It's such a foundation of what I do in the world as a performer, as a singer, as a dancer. But I think when focusing on the breath, it is so crucial that we accept the fact that we can take up space. that we can release our bellies, that we can relax, that whatever is here, whatever our breath in the moment is representing, that there is plenty of space for it, to be as big or as small or as fast or as slow as it needs to be. Yeah.
That incorporation of dance and breath.
Mm-hmm.
Of mindfulness when we're dancing, of using breath as mindfulness to be in the moment of dancing. You're talking about how much the space and the bigness, like a lot of that is like a mindfulness when I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And awareness.
Absolutely. And dancing in particular, it starts with breath. It starts, I think that a lot of times we think about movement and we think about, I don't want to get out of breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I'm panting hard. And it's this self-conscious thing that I have a lot, where it's like I'm afraid to sound like I'm struggling, or I'm afraid that people will hear a moan or a sigh or whatever it is. And again, it's like, that's why we have to start with the idea that it is okay, that I am already here, that I can make noise, I can take deep breaths, I can, stretch my body in a way that it needs to incorporate the breath. And talking about dance in particular, I mean, because of the physiology and like the physicality of it, we have to sometimes choose where we're going to take a breath. If it's an adagio, if it's something that's very slow, we can kind of be more fluid with our breath. But if we're going to do something that's like, and turn, touch, step, like opening a chorus line kind of thing, we have to know when to open up and when to release the tension. The inhaling, the exhaling is just as important, if not more important sometimes, than the inhale. I choreograph a lot where I'll have a group of dancers before they even enter on the wings. They'll inhale and exhale together, and then they'll end the piece a lot of times facing forward, and they all again inhale and exhale. And so it's very important. It's not an afterthought. It's definitely the forefront of what we do when we dance and when we move in general. I don't ever, especially in my classes, I don't want people to think that, this is for dancers, because it's really what I like to call, and what a lot of people in the body trust, body liberation family like to call, joyful movement. So it's not about, rigorous exercise or burning calories or anything like that. It's really just being present in our bodies, listening to our bodies, and enjoying it and savoring it, and letting that be the thing that leads us throughout our day, because our bodies are different every day. So, yeah.
And what is body liberation?
So body liberation to me is the idea that my body, I don't have to apologize for my body. I don't have to make excuses for why I look a certain way, or why it's the idea of not fitting into this societal norm that has been pushed on us through capitalism, through misogyny, through racism. This kind of idea that we are supposed to be thin and blonde, and all of these, the stereotypical idea of how we're supposed to look, that we are free of that. We are free of that expectation, and that we celebrate that. We celebrate stretch marks. We celebrate skin tone. We celebrate, all different levels of mobility and all of that. So it's an active, it's an active mindset. It's an active way to live. It's an attitude. And yeah, and it's fluid and ever changing. And I'm discovering more and more about it every day, and I love it.
And how does breath work into, maybe not, through joyful movement, we see it, but is there other ways that you can use breath to connect to your body?
Absolutely.
What are some of those ways?
So I have taught voice and speech classes a lot, and I think that the breath can help us in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to mindfulness, because we can start to pay attention to our breathing patterns. You know, like, have you ever heard of the movie Waiting to Exhale?
No.
It's got Whitney Houston in it. It's from it's a wonderful movie. I highly recommend it. But there's this whole opening monologue in the movie where she's going on a date with this man, and she's talking about, getting prepared, and like just her mental journey through going on a first date, and like the hopes and the highs of it, and the nerves. And then they get up and he takes her to dance, and she's got her arms around him, and she's like, and then we can exhale, and it's paying attention to things like that. When my breath is shallow, when I am clenching my shoulders up, am I nervous? Am I excited? Where am I mentally? And if I am feeling those ways and it's coming into my body, what can I do to maybe offer myself some self-care and some self-compassion and breathe through it? So a lot of times when I work with people, we start off just noticing where we are, which is really difficult to do sometimes, because I think we're always in that mindset of like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to be doing it. Mm-hmm. But if we can just make peace with our breath and make peace with where we are to start, then we can start moving into and understanding and recognizing what our bodies can be holding and holding on to. And we can use the breath to let go of it or to dive deeper into it. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, breath. I think that reminder of breath as a means of release and working through things is really, really powerful, because I think that ties into sex and sexuality and how we hold things in our body as well. I have previous lives are in performing arts and studied Alexander technique for a number of years, and a decent bit of that is you saying, like, when you said, well, I know how it's supposed to be, it kind of, there's some mind trigger. I was like, oh yeah, okay, like stand open and free, stand how I'm supposed to stand, or sit how I'm supposed to sit, move my arm, from the socket, use the full movement, which is very very Alexander technique. And I can remember during many of those sessions, you'd be doing something, and all of a sudden, your mobility suddenly just like expands. Something unlocks and expands. And oftentimes, I can remember associating that with when my coach was telling me to breathe. Okay, we're gonna breathe in, breathe out. Similar in yoga, you breathe in those positions and you breathe through them, and they can release into a deeper
stretch.
Stretch or squat or whatever. And sexually too, we talked in another interview of utilizing breath to reach orgasm during sex. So that release, that climax release. That's super powerful and important to remember, and something we can take throughout our day, which is very applicable, which is fun.
Yeah, I had touching on on that technique, I had a vocal coach in college. They always said, sing from your hoo-ha. She background in opera. And I always thought that, it was so funny that she said hoo-ha. And also, you know, it makes me think about like how when we deep breathe from our belly, that connects to our pelvic floor, and how we can open up and deep breaths can engage the pelvic floor, and how that can allow a release for a more powerful sexual response. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard like a pregnant person, like a very pregnant person sing. It's like, it sounds super angelic, and it's because all of those muscles, all of them are open, you know, to allow a baby to grow. So it's all super connected. And something else that I heard, I think in a TED talk, was this woman said something about, she was talking about the science behind breath and sexual response. And and she said, you know, the sounds that you make when you're making the baby sound very similar to the sounds you're making when you're delivering the baby. Which I thought was super interesting. And she actually played, you know, the sound of like, I think it was a woman, and she's moaning from pleasure, from sex. And then the other one was like a woman delivering a baby. And it was this deep, like grunting, moaning, you know, that kind of thing, of just like the sounds of her releasing and being in her body and figuring out what she needed. And, you know, like,
Yeah, we say guttural. We say gut.
Yeah,
that's
so
a word
guttural.
for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so guttural, and like it gives me chills to think about it. So yeah, and it's a deeply personal thing, you know, the way that we breathe when it comes to pleasure. You know, like I personally love laughing. I love like that sort of breathing. I love, you know, and it just depends on where you are. And I think that that's why I always come back to, you know, being okay with where you are, and learning how to take up space and ask for what you need. And yeah, and it keeps it interesting, I think. And it's healing. It's pleasure is healing. You know, the breath is healing. It literally is the first thing that breathes us life when we come into the world. So, or gives us life. So it's everything.
I love it. I have a quick question about, we talked earlier about body liberation, and sometimes I think people get the wrong idea about it being like an end point, or like a at some point you are suddenly like completely confident in yourself and you figured it out and you're not concerned, and you never have a day where you look in the mirror and you're like,
no.
But yeah, speak to that. Like, how do you know you've achieved like this liberation, this freeing feeling, but still get through days that are not great?
You know, I think that endpoint idea is a product of capitalism. I think that we are pumped full of images daily where it's like, if you just take this pill, or if you just have this kind of bra, or if you, you know, if you have this outfit or this shoe or whatever it is, it's like they flash these images of these really happy people, you know, like it's like there's this online thing. It's like women eating salads and they're laughing. You know, and it's like, I love salads, but it's also just it's these like super like fit, trim, like happy women eating salads, and it's so bizarre. And it's like, it's that whole idea of like, you're going to achieve this, you know. And in my line of work, a lot of it is like, once you get to this size or this weight, you're going to get all of the love and appreciation, and you're going to be healthy, and nothing's ever going to go wrong for you. And I think it's just like, it's, for me, I had to grieve the fact that that's not real. That's not attainable. That it's, what this looks like is showing up for yourself every day. That to me is when you know, okay, confidence is not this air of a picture. It's not this air of a visualization of how great I look and how well I'm doing and all of that. It's vulnerability, and it's the ability to every day recognize that you're going to be different. Something might be different from day to day. And it's learning how to honor when we're uncomfortable, and when we're hungry, and when we need to take care of ourselves. And understanding that not everyone is going to have access to the same amounts of care. We're not all of us are going to have time or whatever it is. And that it's going to look different on everyone. And some days are going to be better than the other. Healing is not linear. Some days you're going to feel like, oh yeah, I'm owning myself today. I know that, my belly is big, but I'm going to celebrate, and I'm going to feel like a goddess. And, and then some days I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G if I don't get this, 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 and this together. And it's being able to step back and go, okay, is that my voice? Do I really believe that about myself? It's that awareness,
Yeah.
And the understanding that the thing behind our eyes that's paying attention, the thing that's noticing, like, that's us. And, it's self-compassion, I think, is the best way I can put it, is self-compassion.
And I think also, as your company is so beautifully named, it's being comfortably confident.
Yeah.
It's comfy confidence.
Yeah.
That you can take with you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what comfy confidence is, how it got started, and why, and also one of your other kind of coined key phrases, which is being a permissionary,
mm-hmm.
and what that means, and how we can be that for ourselves, giving ourselves permission to.
Yeah. So, as someone who has just been on and off of diet plans and exercise regimes, and on the constant track of self-improvement my entire life, I got to a point where I was so sick of it, and it was literally killing me. And I was like, something's not right here. Something is not, why can't I get this right? Why can't I just make that step forward and stay, either lose that weight or get that promotion or whatever it is. And I just realized, I was like, I'm just following someone else's, what worked for them. And the problem with that is that we're all so different. And it's really important that we understand that body trust is our birthright. I learned that through this wonderful network called Be Nourished. That's their thing, is they say body trust is our birthright. And I've always been someone who, through the pain and the struggles that I've had with my own being, whether that's mentally or physically or whatever, I've always I've had to push through that a lot, and make my own confidence and find my own ways of feeling great about myself. And I want to do that for the people around me. That's something that I naturally want to do. I just want everyone to have fun. I used to have parties at my house in high school, and I just invited everybody. I wanted everyone to come and have a good time and dance and live it up. And so a couple of years ago, I was sitting down with two of my closest friends. One happens to be my sister-in-law, and the other one I grew up dancing with and going to church and all of that. And this actually came from a time when I was actively trying to date, and I couldn't really get a grasp of who I was and why someone would like me. And so I asked my best friends, I was like, what is it about me that keeps you invested in our friendship? There are drain friends and there are gain friends. So what do you get from me being in your life? And Bethany said to me, she said, HP, you give me permission to be myself. And I was like, shit, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to do that with my life. It's like, how do I do that? Like, forget the dating part. How do I do that with my life? How do I live my life that way and make it a mission to do so? And so we were sitting there and I was like, what do I call myself? Like, what is that? What do you do? And so we were like, mission. It's your mission to do this. You give people permission to be yourself or themselves. And my sister-in-law goes, she's brilliant. She goes, permissionary. And so I was like, that's awesome. And then it took me like a year or so to figure out exactly how to define that, because I don't ever want to be the air of like, I give you permission to be who you are. Like, no, like I want to hold safe spaces so people can explore themselves. They can explore who they are. They can be around other people who, you know, are open and they want to explore, you know, their sexuality. They want to explore their bodies and feeling liberated in their bodies and understanding, you know, the mental holdups that they have about themselves. Are those things I was born with, or is that something that someone else imposed upon me growing up?
Yeah.
So yeah, permissionary sums up someone who celebrates and honors personal autonomy with the hopes that one day we won't live in a world where we need permission to live our truth.
Snap
so
that.
yeah, I was like, I've got to have like a solid, you know, definition. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what I want to do. That's who I am. So
That sounds a solid thing to be, solid thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should all do that. Are there tools or ways that you've found that help enable that for people? It like saying like, I will be a listener. I will, you know, like, here's things that I can do in order to be a better permissionary for people in my life.
Yeah, definitely listening. As you can tell, I like to talk a lot. I'm not the best at listening. So also just educating myself and, you know, and not relying on someone else to explain their experience to me in ways that it's like just reading up, knowing the history, knowing why someone might feel a certain way about who they are, and recognizing my own personal privileges that I've had in life, and being able to step back and help someone figure out what they really want, and speak, you know, from personal experience, and having empathy for that person. And also just being able to take the things that I'm good at. I've always been a performer my whole life. Like my dad always says, you know, Hillary, you just wanted to have fun. That's all you wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, I just want to have fun. So if someone is like struggling with, I want to wear this tight dress in public, but I'm nervous as to what my belly is going to feel like. Okay, well, or what people are going to think of how I look, or what my belly looks like in this outfit. Okay, let's break that down. You know, let's visualize walking in an outfit and having people look at us, and what sensations come up in your body when you're going through that. You know, like what, you know, and how can we be there for ourselves and help to heal whatever that's there, or listen to it, and be and self-partner ourselves in that way, which is kind of what the Dating 101 class is. It's learning personal autonomy. It's honoring personal autonomy, and just having fun too. It doesn't have to be this like serious, you know, deep dive always. Sometimes it just looks like, you know, doing something creative, or and just playing. I don't think we play enough as adults. You know, when we're kids, it's like, go outside and play. And then now it's like, meet an agenda, hit your deadline, get dinner ready, you know, like just play, put makeup, you know. I've been watching a lot of TikTok. I'm one of those millennials. It's like invading the Generation Z thing. And one of the challenges that I love is you put like all different types of makeup. Like you write it down on a piece of paper and put it in a cup, and then you pull it out and it's like, okay, I'm going to use this for my foundation, and it'll be like eyeshadow or highlighter, you know? And it's like silly stuff like that. And it's so fun and funny. And like, it's just a way where it's like, all right, I'm going to put myself out there. Just little things like that.
Yeah. Listening to friends, educating yourself from friends, playing with friends, being that person. I love all of that. I love all being it for yourself and for them.
Yeah.
So for those who might not know this, you are actually one of our teachers at the My Sex Bio Studio.
Yep.
And which is, when you mentioned Dating 101, that's one of the classes you're teaching. And so in kind of the spirit of the My Sex Bio workshop, we asked you to bring to the table a quick little exercise with breath. And I think it could be a good way for people to see what they might experience in your workshops if they went to one of those. But also, if you're just driving and listening to this or at your computer, it seems like it'd be a nice opportunity to just take a few moments to show up for yourself and use breath we've been talking about.
Cool. So if you're not driving and your hands are free, I just want to start off, just warm up your hands. Warm up your hands, make sure that they're nice and warm. You can blow into them. Yep. Good. And when they're nice and warm, just go ahead and just gently place them on your face. And just take a nice deep breath. Good. Notice any sensations you felt just from that breath. One more. Good. Now just starting at your temples, just kind of gently massage. Or if your hands are not free, you can just kind of work on tensing up your face and then relaxing it. Good. Work through your temples. Come back to where your eyebrows, the middle of your eyebrows, where they meet your nose. Just taking deep breaths. Work through right here, that big, thick muscle that opens and closes our mouths. Good. Good. Come up through where the nape of your neck is. Good. Shake out your hands. I'm going to do this for a little bit, so just bear with me. If you are experiencing any like tenderness in your joints, you can just kind of, flick a little bit. Just imagine letting tension go in your hands and your fingertips. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Shake, shake, shake. Flick, flick, flick. Breathing. And let it go. Good. Notice the sensations in your hands. Good. So take your shoulders, squeeze them up by your ears. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. Good. Inhale, do the same thing. Squeeze. Exhale, let it go. One more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And let it go. Very good. Roll your shoulders up and back. Excellent. Find a tolerable position to sit in or whatever you're doing. Good. And just for a second, just notice your breathing. Don't try to control it or anything. Just notice. Notice if your breathing is in your chest. Notice if you're expanding through your back as well. Good. And I want you to think of your belly just extending, opening through the bottom. It's like you're growing taller through the bottom and through the top. Good. Take a deep breath and let it go. Good. And just come to peaceful state. It's important to try to just breathe through your nose and out your mouth because we're going to start going into some deeper breathing. Let's just really quickly do a body scan. So starting at the top of your head, just notice any tingling, any sensations. Just live through the top of your head for a second. Good, let's move down and be in the back of our eyes. Notice any sensations that are in that space. And all the way down to our throat. Now let's be aware of our shoulders. Good. Through our chest. Any tingling, vibrating, just notice what's there. And into our bellies. Just let them be full. Connect everything we've noticed so far. Let's focus on our upper arms. And all the way down through our fingertips. And our legs. Our thighs. Just let them be open and relaxed and glorious as they are. And through our legs, our shins, our calves, everything that connects them. All the way down to the tips of our toes. Notice any numbness, any buzzing. Good. So now what I want us to do is we're gonna just let all of our air out in a second, and we're gonna breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. And in that time, I want you to, and within those 4 counts, take in all the air that you possibly can, and then on the way out, exhale all the way out. And we're going to be breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. So let your air out and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Good. This time, put both hands on your belly where you're feeling the breath move. And we're going to do 6 this time. So let all your air out. And breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. This time, I want you to imagine everything just breathing through your pubic bones, through your pelvic floor, and all of the sensations. So let your air out. We're going to do to 6. Let it out. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Breathe normally. You are safe and you are loved just as you are in this moment. I want you to notice where you've been breathing from and imagine a smile just living right there, just smiling. Any tingling or sensation, just put your hand where you're feeling it. And the last thing I want to do is just think of the words comfy and confident. What comes to your mind when you think of those words, comfy and confident? What does my life look like when I think of those words? How do I live when I feel comfy and confident in who I am? How do I walk? How do I move through the world? How does my body react? You are safe and you are loved. How does my body react? Good. Take one more deep breath. And exhale and open your eyes or look up. Good. Good, good, good. So something I want to talk about, first of all, how did you feel?
I like it. You're going like sliding right into like teacher, like, and now we're gonna pull a lesson out of this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I am curious, what comes to your mind when you think of comfy and confidence? First of all, you all look lovely right now. Everyone's like nice and relaxed. I love it.
I feel like a euphoric, like ASMR meets like, oh yeah, oxygen throughout my body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the first things that comes to my mind of comfy and confident is I think of it, whether I do it or not, as like a straight, like a tallness. Not tall necessarily as in tall, big, but being as erect as I can be.
Yeah.
I think, well, I'm very relaxed right now. I think I pictured like, I conjured like an image of me and my partner in our like future home together, where he like doesn't have to be like, I see you so differently than you see yourself. Like I finally came to like this peace with like I know he sees me and loves me, but he sometimes like, you have bad days, and he's like, I wish I could just show you how I see you. And finally in this vision I had like a feeling of like, yeah, I see myself like that too now.
Yeah. Isn't that it is amazing to me that, and think of the emotions that are attached to that. The fact that your mind and your body connected in that moment and you were living it, you were able to do that for yourself. It wasn't some outside, person giving you that. It wasn't your partner necessarily giving you that in that moment. It was you. You have all of the tools you could ever need to love yourself and to accept yourself. It's already here. It already exists. And it's just knowing how to recognize that, how to tap into it. There's lots of visuals you can do for that sort of thing. And, you know, in ABBA, you're talking about the tallness. You know, what emotions come for you when you thought of confidence and you thought of tallness? Like, what did that feel like? What emotions like lived in your body in that moment? ABBA.
Confident. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm thinking. Sorry. I mean,
Oh, it's okay.
Confident. The emotion of I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I'm probably some pride for something is probably mixed in there, even if it's just like today. You know,
Yeah.
proud of whatever today is. Whatever is happening today. Comfortable in the clothing that I'm in, comfortable in my surroundings. Those things, I think, all influence. I'm in like a little bit of a transition right now, coming into a new space, and I think that can influence, you know, your environment, and strongly influence your comfort and your confidence.
Yeah.
So having those aren't all emotions. I guess those are also like external factors, but they're things that I
totally
come to mind and I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this is a good way to notice when something is uncomfortable, and understanding that it's not a bad thing if you do feel uncomfortable emotions. And it's not necessarily a good thing if you feel, you know, comfortable emotions. I don't like to label emotions as good or bad. I like to label them as comfortable and uncomfortable, because they all deserve space. They all deserve to be honored. And that is our birthright. It is our birthright to experience them. And so I love to lead these kind of deep thinking, deep breathing, connecting it, you know, honoring all of it.
And is this part of what's going on in the class?
Yes.
Dating 101?
Yes. I love it. I feel like, you know, when you see people in the media, you know, marrying themselves and having these ceremonies, it's like, it can maybe you know, ping a little bit of uncomfortable feelings about that, because, you know, we're kind of just taught we need to be partnered. But it's kind of breaking down what it means to self-partner, and how we can take care of ourselves so that we can love the people in our lives that matter a lot to us. It's not necessarily for people who are like single. It's for people that just want to, you know, listen to who they are and honor what's there.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
yeah.
Wow, thank you. Well, we're getting to the end of our episode. And we just want to loop back on the theory that you first proposed to us, this carnal theory of why walk when you can dance. And I think we've explored that in a number of ways, incorporating breath, and also in the literal sense, and in like a more metaphorical sense of dancing with ourselves. Like, dance is emotion. Dance can be a story. It's telling that story and exploring that with yourself and with others.
And even a way of thinking, a way of understanding yourself. And
how
you
language. Dance is a language.
Yeah. And the fluidity of it all. The fluidity of it all. And honoring what's there. And I'm excited to get to the self-seduction class. That's going to be really fun, because we are going to dance a little bit in that class. I'm very excited for that. So
excellent. That should be coming out soon. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
thank you so much.
Thank you. This was wonderful. I really enjoyed being here. Thank you so much for having me.
I had several moments of chills and watery eyes. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode has given you something further to reflect upon. Reach out to us with your questions or insights at our Instagram page at Carnal Theory. And also definitely go check out HP's work. Follow on their Instagram at Comfy Confidence. And please come join these classes. It's awesome. I promise you will not regret it. I am so excited to take this and bring it with me throughout the rest of the day. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Carnal Theory is produced by My Sex Bio. Our sound design is by Audrey Cohane, and our theme music by Men the Universe. My Sex Bio is an educational platform built to empower people like you to take command of your sexual biography. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at MySexBio. Visit our website and join our e-letter at mysexbio.org and support our work by joining our Patreon. Thank you.